Okay, Teresa T. I'm sorry, your name's Teresa, but you prefer to be called T. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, T, thank you for coming in again. It's a pleasure to see you. I know we've met before. We've talked before a few times, so this is going on maybe our second or third session, if I'm not mistaken. So, how have you been?
Okay.
So, how are you feeling today?
Okay. Just okay.
Okay, now when you say okay, can you give me more of a feeling, such as are you happy? Are you sad? Are you frustrated? Are you excited?
I'm not really happy. I'm not really sad. I'm just kind of neutral.
Okay, so you're just neutral today.
Mhm.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you. Me myself, I'm really happy today. It's a great day, so I'm excited. So now I know last time you came in, we were talking about you having um, the the friend on the side, or how would you define that relationship?
Complicated. um, of course, I'm married, so it would be considered an affair. But it's just an affair.
Well, do you want to give it a non-threatening name, such as, or do you just want to call it an affair? What do you feel comfortable calling
Well, his name is John,
it?
so
Okay,
we'll say my relationship with John.
okay. So now I know that the last time you came in, we talked about your relationship with John and your concerns and your fears. And so I know that one part of the last time you came in, we talked about you possibly creating a journal
Mhm.
for your thoughts when you are thinking about John. And so, how's that journal coming?
I have committed to it. It's hard, as busy as I am, to always sit down and write. Occasionally, I get behind, but I have been doing it.
Okay. So now this week, T, what I would like to do is I would like to take some passages out of your journal, and we are going to talk about your feelings, your thoughts, and your emotions at that particular time that you are writing and how you felt in your journal. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. Is that okay with you? All right. So tell me, what we'll do is then let's go into you telling me about an experience in your journal that you want to talk about or that you found hard to deal with this week.
Well, my husband has a friend at work who is a female, and she calls at the house like a lot more recent. And he laughs and he cuts up and like we used to. And that bothers me. And I know that's wrong because it's a double standard. I mean, I have John and I have my husband. Yet, if he even looks at another woman or talks to another woman, it makes me feel like I'm not there. It's like I don't exist. He just like, it's all her. I mean, forget that I have a wife, forget that I have kids. It's like I wasn't even in the room.
All right. Well, this is a great opening. So let's talk more about these feelings and these emotions and these thoughts that come up within your body or your mind every time this particular individual calls your husband at your home. Tell me more about that. When she calls, what are you feeling? Tell me about an isolated incident or the last time she called. And did you answer the phone or did your husband?
Sometimes he does, but like it was me this time.
Okay.
I mean, I've even told him like, why do you even have her call the home phone?
Okay. And if this young lady, you said this is somebody he works with?
Mm-hmm.
So let's step back a few moments. Describe their working relationship to me. Is this an appropriate thing for her to be doing? Or is it appropriate for her to call your home?
They talk business, but it's much more other stuff, randomness, like gossip and lunch and sports or restaurants. It's if it were just like work, might not be that big of a deal. But since when has my husband enjoyed talking about work?
Okay. So you're concerned about the relationship that your husband is having with a coworker. Is that what I'm hearing?
Hmm. But it's not. I don't. I don't know if I'm angry because he's doing it, or if I'm more angry with myself because I feel like I have one. What is he doing that I'm not doing?
Okay, now you keep saying that you have one. What is this one? Are you
John, John.
okay? So now you're equating you're having John with your husband having this other young lady that's calling your home.
Mhm.
So would it be fair to ask that? Are you thinking that your husband is having a relationship with this young lady outside of work that's improper?
Yeah.
And other than the telephone calls that you receive at your home, what evidence do you have to support this?
They do lunch together
Okay, but a lot of people go to lunch with coworkers.
every day.
Well,
Every
so,
day.
well, no, not necessarily every day, but it's all about a convenience. Well, what other evidence do you have, such as them going to lunch every day?
Well, I mean, not only do they go to lunch, he pays for her every single time.
Okay,
I mean, if it's just lunch, then why doesn't she pay occasionally? Why does he always pay?
okay, so you're saying that the fact that your husband pays for this lady to eat lunch is a red flag for you. But once again, how do you know that he's paying for it? Do you have evidence on the credit card? Is your husband telling you that he's paying for her?
We share a bank account.
Okay, so tell me more about that. You have a bank account with your husband.
Hmm.
So I'm assuming that you're monitoring the money that is being withdrawn.
Hmm.
Okay, so how can you determine that two people is eating and not one?
Well, it usually doesn't cost $30, 30 plus for one person to have lunch.
Okay, okay. So it sounds that you have some evidence that could show that there is some sort of issue or concern. But let's talk more about this. Tell me your feelings on your husband spending money or taking this other young lady out to lunch every day and spending time with her. How does that make you feel?
Angry.
Okay. And when you're angry, what's your first thought?
I just want to tell him I'm done.
Okay. So you're telling me that you're experiencing anger, and so then your anger leads you to believe that you're done. But then once you're thinking that you're done and it becomes a thought, then what happens next? What happens from after the thought? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to leave? Do you want to leave?
No. I just feel like I know for me that John's not anything serious. I really do love my husband, but we have problems. We have issues. And when I see that he's moving toward this lady friend, that's not helping the issues that we already have. Like the time that he could be spending with me, he's spending with her, which makes it that much harder now for me to walk away from John and say, okay, I'm done with him. I'm ready to work on us because why should I give up my extra if you've already picked up someone on the side as well? There's no point in that. And I don't want to be alone.
Okay. So you don't want to be alone. So you're saying that out of fear and the possibility that your husband is having this relationship with this other young lady, that forces you to stay with John and try to forge a relationship with him.
Yeah, sometimes it's like I come to a cross to where that I don't know which one is the best choice even. I mean, clearly it's my husband. But on days like when he decides that he's going to be talking to her, I'm like, well, screw you too. I'm going to go call John.
Okay. So essentially, it's okay for you to have a relationship with John, but then it's not okay for your husband to have a relationship with his coworker. And because he's having a relationship with the coworker, you're starting to have certain feelings about it.
Well, it just makes me angry. It makes me angry because I wouldn't have to go elsewhere if my husband would do the right thing. I wouldn't have to seek the attention. I wouldn't have to seek the love. I wouldn't have to seek the affection that I'm not getting from him from someone else if he would commit to me 110%. So now I found someone else because he's not giving that to me. And then he goes out on the side and finds someone else that he has no problem giving 110 to. So I don't know.
Okay. Now, I've heard you say several times that you're angry. You're angry at your husband because he's spending time with someone else. So tell me what that looks like to you. Tell me more about that. Give me, tell me how that makes you feel. Like when you're angry and you're frustrated with your husband. Tell me more about that.
I don't want anything to do with him. I don't want to look at him. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to be in the same room with him. I don't want anything to do with him. He doesn't understand. I mean, it's just like, what do? I just cook your dinner. I just have your children. I'm legally married to you, but you pretend that I almost don't exist other than that. And it's lonely. It's almost like I feel isolated. It's like I'm by myself. Like he's like abandoning me. Like he's abandoning ship and his duties and the whole family.
Okay. So tell me, do you think that it's a possibility that your husband knows about John? Because what my concern is that you are saying that you're angry, you're frustrated, you feel lonely, and you're alone because your husband is spending time with his coworker. However, would it be fair to say that you're spending just as much time with John? And if so, How does that make your husband feel?
I don't think he would even notice. I don't think he would even care if he did notice.
Okay. So you think that your husband's not noticing?
He's oblivious.
Okay. And have you tried to talk to him about this?
He doesn't really talk. He's a man of little words or few words. He just kind of okay, okay.
Okay. So you've been married for some years now. You have a stable home. You have a loving husband. You have some wonderful children. But there's some sort of dissension or isolation. I'm sorry, did you need to get that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So I'm sorry. Now, like I was saying, so what I'm just trying to get a clear understanding of is that you're saying that you're angry,
Mhm.
and because you're angry, you're frustrated, and because when you become frustrated, you then you start having thoughts of your husband having an improper or unhealthy relationship with his coworker, and then that causes you to then run to John as a way of coping.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would like to do is I would like to just go back up a few more steps and so say that perhaps when you are having those thoughts or feelings or anger, have you tried writing it down in your journal?
I did on this occasion.
Okay, so tell me more about that. So you wrote it down in your journal, you were angry. What was your next step? You had a thought. What was your thought?
Initially, I couldn't get past the I'm angry.
Okay, what is it possible?
It was just like, oh, he's gonna try to play this game now. Like, he's like, I mean, I know why I cheat.
Okay,
Why is he?
okay. So you know why you're cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you cheating? Or I'm sorry, I don't really like using the word cheating. So why do you have another relationship with another individual?
Just John doesn't give me everything I need.
Okay. So then why do you think your husband is doing it? If that's what he's doing, because other than the going out to lunch, the calls, 'cause they could be just working on a project that would require them to spend a lot of time together. The lunches, the calls, what I'm saying, depending on how big the project is, depends on how much time that it forces those two individuals to spend together.
I mean, that could be a possibility, but I just don't like the way that they. Ah, ha, 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 ha. It's like, I mean, I don't expect him to hate his coworker, but like the level of enjoyment he gets off of her company, the way he lights up, the way he.
So, if I remember correctly in our past sessions, you told me that you met John at work and that he was an old coworker of yours. So, is it appropriate to think that because of how your relation started with John, you're assuming that the relationship is starting the same way with your husband and his coworker?
I don't think it's based on what I did. I think it's based on just what I see,
Okay.
like his interaction.
Okay. And so, how would you like to move forward?